Hey, welcome back to the secret underground lair. So I brought over our shelves. They're ready for paint, or ready for sanding. And I have the drawers. I'll bring them over and get them sanded off. And then we are ready for our first top coat. So little sanding, a lot of painting. That's today's adventure. It's amazing when you sand a piece of wood like that and you think, or any kind of piece like that with such light pressure and so quickly, you think, what difference could it possibly make? But just the feel before and after is remarkable. The difference that just running that over quickly just makes such a difference to the surface feel of the wood, or the piece in this case, the MDF. And the paint, the top coat of paint will just lie on there beautifully flat. Okay, that is all the cabinet and component pieces sanded. Whew, just paint. So I'm going to use the dust collector with a vacuum attachment. I'm going to vacuum everything out rather than blow it out. I'm going to vacuum it out. And then we'll set up all the component pieces for paint. I'm going to do the cabinet last, but we'll do all the component pieces final top coat first. Okay, all of our component pieces are now ready to go. I just need to vacuum out the cabinet and then that'll be good to paint. But let's do the component pieces first, one step at a time. So given the area that I've got to work with, I'm gonna have to do this in a few stages. So I'm starting with the shelves and the doors. We'll get those done, let them set. When the paint's dry, we'll flip them over to the other side. Then we'll do the drawers and finally do the cabinet. So it's going to be multiple sessions of paint, wait for it to dry, flip, paint, wait for it to dry, that kind of thing. We'll go mix up some paint now. Okay, we are ready to paint. And just if you're interested, the paint we're using is a Benjamin Moore Regal Select. And the color we're using is simply white. Benjamin Moore, not endorsed by them or anything, but we have just found over years of painting that Benjamin Moore makes a very nice paint, and Regal Select is a very nice particular version of paint that they've got. So Goes on really smooth, lays flat. We like it. Very pleased with the result of that that painting there. I increased the pressure on the spray gun just a little bit and the width of the fan just a little bit as well. So the paint comes out in finer particles and lays down a little bit flatter. It's drying up really nicely and drying quickly. Unfortunately, I did have a little fleck of dried paint come off the plastic and land right here on the surface here, so I'm gonna have to touch that up. Overall though, that's gonna look real nice. So I'll come back in about an hour after that's had a chance to set, and we'll I'll sand this off, may give that a little touch, and I'll turn these over and spray the other side. So that's a little bit of the drawers done, just kind of learning best way to spray inside a box. So I'm gonna let this set up and dry a little bit, and then I'll come back and do the other drawer. Flip these drawers around, do the back of them. I can move the doors off now because they're completely painted. And as soon as they dry, they're still a little wet. Very pleased with the result of the drawers though. The doors though, they've come out really nicely. Factory finish kind of done. All right, back in a bit. All right, we have the shelves, the doors, and the drawers now painted. So we're on to the cabinet. A little bit tricky trying to get down in here. I can get most of I should be able to get the entire inside top done. Getting into the sides of this cabinet is a little bit tricky. This being the smaller of the two cabinets. This one I have a little more room, but that's a little bit tight. So in this pass, what I'm going to try and do is the inside tops, the sides down a few inches anyway, not all the way, and this bottom surface. Well, what would have been a perfect finish except for me banging the air gun on the top in two locations there and dragging the hose over here. That would have been perfect. So a little bit of touch-up needs to happen on the inside top and on this side. However, we'll do that after the fact. What I'm going to do now is the bottom surface here. Okay, now going to do the two end sides. What I had thought to do initially would be to stand it up at this point. Just playing a game of chess here about the best way to manipulate the piece. But I think I'm going to paint these end sides and maybe this surface here and let it sit dry. Then I can come back and flip it. And a couple drips on this back leg here. But we may do a little sand and touch up on that too. Okay, overall that worked out okay. Bottom is fantastic. The surface is good. That end is wonderful. This end is good. Wonderful. Okay, we're gonna let that sit for a little while. And then we'll flip it up. We can do the back, but first, of course, we'll have to do these. Finish off the inside and the top where the drawer pockets are. All right, sides have dried off, so we're gonna do the inside lower section of these cabinets and the drawer pockets. I'm gonna flip it around and do the back. So that's the cabinet painted. The gun was playing a little nasty with me on the back here. Had a couple clogs. Finally got it resolved, and then now have a couple runs that I'm just trying to address. So probably need a little bit of touch up here on the back, but nothing untoward. Overall, it's looking good. Sides are good. Front part of the cabinet is good. The inside pockets are all good. Generally very pleased with that. So I'm going to let this dry, set up, take a good look at it. And I might just call that done. A few little areas where I need to touch. But this paint went on pretty heavy coats. So I'm thinking I may not need to do a second coat is my thinking at the moment. It went on nice and heavy, went on wet, as they say. So apart from a couple of runs and a couple little touch-ups that need to be made, I'm pretty happy with the result. So I'll come back when this is dry and we'll make a final assessment. Okay, so there we have the back of the cabinet done, sides, everything is all painted. I'm quite happy with that. There's going to be a little bit of touch-up that needs to be done. You know, I've got a little mark here that I'm going to fill in, take care of that. A couple of those around. I forgot to add the run begone to the paint, so I have a little run that's going to need to be sanded out. A couple little spots here that I try and get rid of. The paint is still a little wet. So we'll take care of those little minor issues, but I think that's going to be it for the painting. I'm going to call it painting done. So the next step in this process is going to be reassembly, final assembly, and cutting the top to the width that we need and putting on some veneer on the edges that are being cut. So tomorrow we should wrap this up. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Here's all our doors. Really happy with the doors. Happy with the shelves. Happy with the drawers. I'm just a happy guy.